The story is set in the fictional town of Hockenheim during the latter days of Nazi Germany, where the war is nearing its end. The main character is Jojo, a 10-year-old boy with an overzealous nationalist attitude. Jojo, who has Hitler as his imaginary friend, struggles with basic tasks such as tying his shoes, despite his extreme devotion to Nazi ideals. Jojo is a dedicated Hitler Youth member, eager to serve his country and prove his loyalty. Along with his best friend Yorkie, he attends a Hitler Youth camp for the weekend, overseen by Captain Klenzendorf, his assistant Freddie Finkel, and Fraulein Rahm, who supervises the League of German Girls. While the boys are trained in warlike activities such as grenade throwing and trench digging, the girls are taught traditional skills like tending wounds, making beds, and preparing for motherhood. Jojo excels at identifying Jews and burning books, but falters when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. The older boys tease him for being scared. When it comes time for Jojo to prove his bravery by killing a rabbit, he hesitates and ultimately fails, leading to further ridicule from the boys who mockingly nickname him Jojo Rabbit. Upset, Jojo retreats to the woods, where his imaginary friend Hitler reassures him that rabbits like himself are brave because they venture out every day to survive. Inspired, Jojo returns to the camp and impulsively takes a grenade from Captain Klenzendorf, but in his excitement, he throws it poorly and it bounces back, exploding at his feet. Afterwards, he regains consciousness in the hospital, with blurry memories of his mother Rosie visiting him. When he wakes up in his room, he discovers that he now has a limp and scars on his face. Despite his injuries, Rosie encourages him to continue wearing his uniform and returns him to the Hitler Youth headquarters, where Klenzendorf, demoted for negligence, reluctantly agrees to give Jojo a non-combat role, like putting up propaganda posters and delivering conscriptions. One day, while out on a task, Jojo and his mother see a group of people hanged in the town square. When Jojo asks his mother what they did, she figuratively explains their innocence. Later at home, Jojo becomes uneasy when he hears strange noises coming from his sister's old room. Investigating further, Jojo discovers a hidden compartment in the wall, behind which a young Jewish girl Elsa is hiding. Elsa reveals that Rosie is secretly hiding her from the Nazis. She warns Jojo that if he tells anyone, both she and his mother will be executed for harboring a Jew. Conflicted, Jojo consults his imaginary friend Hitler, who suggests he negotiate with Elsa. Armed with a kitchen knife and a cooking pot for protection, Jojo confronts Elsa, but she easily disarms him and kicks him out of the room. After another conversation with his imaginary Hitler, Jojo decides to act friendly toward Elsa to lower her guard. When his mother returns, Jojo tells her about the strange noises he heard, but she brushes it off, saying it's probably rats. Later that evening, Rosie visits Elsa, reminding her to be more cautious because she can't choose between her son and her. She also tells Elsa that as long as someone is still alive out there, the Nazis are losing. The next day, Jojo goes swimming to help with his leg. There, he sees Klenzendorf and Finkel sitting closely together, visibly wary of Rosie. After his mother leaves, Jojo asks Klenzendorf what he should do if he found a Jew. Klenzendorf simply says to call the Gestapo, who would kill the Jew and anyone helping them. Jojo also questions how to identify a Jew, to which Klenzendorf admits he has no idea, joking that someone should write a book about it. Jojo strikes a deal with Elsa. She can stay if she helps him write an exposé on Jews. Elsa sarcastically describes Jews as demons who love money and are allergic to food, hinting that she's trying to manipulate Jojo into bringing her meals. When Jojo attempts to assert that Aryans are superior, Elsa grabs him and explains there's nothing weak about Jews. That night, Jojo watches his mother happily celebrate the news that the Allies have taken Italy, but Jojo becomes angry, accusing her of being unpatriotic. Rosie dismisses the argument, playfully scolding Jojo by pretending to be his father, reminding him to be kinder to her. Jojo continues to question Elsa about Jews, and she tells him about her fiancé Nathan, who is fighting with the resistance. Jojo later writes a fake letter from Nathan breaking up with her, but the cruel trick deeply hurts Elsa. Regretting his actions, Jojo writes another letter apologizing, which brings some comfort to Elsa. They slowly grow closer, even playing games together. During a walk, Rosie nostalgically tells Jojo how lively the town used to be before the war, but Jojo dismisses her romantic notions. As the war worsens, Jojo finds himself warming up to Elsa, which imaginary Hitler disapproves of, reminding Jojo to stay loyal to the Nazi cause. One day, Gestapo officers led by Captain Diertz arrive to search the house. Klenzendorf and Finkel also show up, offering a flimsy excuse about delivering a pamphlet. Elsa steps out of hiding and pretends to be Jojo's sister, Inga. The Gestapo ask her for her papers and her birthday, which she answers correctly. However, after they leave, Elsa reveals that she gave the wrong date, meaning Klenzendorf had deliberately helped her. Tensions between Jojo and Elsa rise again when she sees his book full of cruel depictions of Jews and instructions on how Nathan should die. She tells Jojo that they can't be friends, and Jojo's imaginary Hitler becomes furious with him. Soon after, Jojo's world is shattered when he finds his mother hanged in the town square. Overwhelmed with grief, Jojo tries to tie her shoes, but fails, just as he failed to tie his own. Devastated, he returns home, intent on blaming Elsa for his mother's death. He tries to stab her, but she stops him, and he breaks down in tears. Elsa comforts him, revealing that Rosie had always been part of the resistance. As the war comes to an end, Jojo and Elsa begin a routine of sharing meals and exchanging fake letters from Nathan, written by Jojo. One day, as Allied forces close in, Jojo runs into Yorkie, who informs him that Hitler has killed himself and the Nazis are desperate for soldiers, even sending children to fight. The streets are filled with chaos, and Jojo is caught up in the madness, eventually hiding in an abandoned building until the fighting ends. When the dust settles, Jojo witnesses the Soviets rounding up Nazis, including Diertz and Klenzendorf. Before Klenzendorf is taken away to be executed, he removes Jojo's Nazi jacket, spits on him, and calls him a Jew, allowing Jojo to avoid capture. Jojo returns home, fearful that Elsa will leave now that the war is over. He lies to her, telling her that Germany won the war. However, when Elsa realizes the truth, she slaps Jojo for his deception. In the end, Jojo admits his feelings for Elsa, though he knows she only loves him like a brother. Imaginary Hitler makes one last attempt to convince Jojo to stick with his Nazi beliefs, but Jojo finally rejects him, kicking Hitler out of his life. Encouraged by Jojo, Elsa steps outside and they celebrate their newfound freedom by dancing. Thanks for being with us.